Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother Minister Mongoose, and where this ministry is promoting a holistic mind, body, and spirit path to health and wellness and to life overall, and where this ministry is putting a premium triage approach when it comes to, or putting a premium on the have-nots and taking a triage approach when it comes to putting a premium on the have-nots. Now, we all know who the have-nots are, but sometimes we may not include everybody in that group of have-nots. Sometimes we may just think it's people that are have-nots when it comes to finances. Maybe it's have-nots when it comes to housing, education, but we include all of the have-nots here. All that are fighting to maintain commitment to moving forward and not surrendering to those specific areas of where they may be lacking something. So for all of those that are struggling with mental issues, eating disorders, depression, anxiety, those that are dealing with family betrayal, those are dealing with just not knowing how to fit in. They have been rejected by society. Maybe because they didn't fit in, they have walked away from society, and now they're struggling and dealing with all kinds of psychological and emotional issues. For those that are struggling in their finances, those that are struggling in their health, those that are struggling with drug addiction, alcohol abuse, criminality, trying to overcome the hood and the hood mentality, or trying to overcome being a racist and a racist mentality. And the list goes on and on for all of those who are carrying these type of burdens, and they find themselves technically in this group that we refer to as the have-nots, and they still have not surrendered their souls. They haven't become dark-hearted. They haven't become narcissistic. They haven't become practitioners and participants in the kingdom of darkness, despite all of those challenges. To you, I say, welcome home, and please step to the front of the line. To those of my spiritual families that your heart is in the right place, but maybe you're not suffering some of those most egregious type of challenges, to you, I say, welcome home, and I simultaneously, in a very positive and constructive way, challenge you to make sure that you're being introspective when it comes to giving back and doing all that you can for those that are less fortunate, marginalized in any and every way of life. Some are struggling in their health. I don't know if I mentioned that. So this is what this ministry is all about. I'll talk about some services, or I'll briefly mention some services that are provided by this ministry to help you guys on your struggle. But I always start with putting this truth out first and foremost, and that is, whatever it is that you or I or whoever is dealing with, collective society, whatever we're dealing with, our ability to deal with that, to navigate that, to manage, and ultimately, by His power and authority, overcome that, it all hinges on us being able to move in a constructive, in a wise, in a positive, and non-relenting way when it comes to our mental faculties, our physical capabilities, and our spiritual gifts and talents as well. When we properly merge, balance, and synthesize all that God or the universe has given to us, this is how we get there. I always start with that because, again, Mount Fitness MBS Ministry. And the universe has downloaded this truth to me. If this resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, great. Perhaps this ministry isn't for you. If you're one of those people who are in great shape physically and you're sharp as a tack when it comes to your mental capabilities and prowess, but you have no health and wellness when it comes to the spiritual you, and you don't see the need for that, then yeah, this ministry probably isn't for you. This ministry is for those who, regardless of how well or not so well they are doing in each of, pardon me, in each or all of these individual aspects that the universe has created us all as humans to be. It's for those who say, you know what, regardless of how well they're doing, they're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. They're not going to quit on being as sharp and as mentally focused and operating at a premium to the best of their ability when it comes to mentally, when it comes to their physicality, when it comes to their spirit, man or woman. This ministry is for those people, not for those who are living in a that are not pursuing these things in a competitive standpoint. We're not promoting being competitive and trying to come in the first place in all these different things. Although we all know that healthy competition it brings forth its fruits, but that's not what it's all about. It's about you being at your best, mentally, physically, and spiritually, regardless if that guy or girl is much more advanced than you are, or if you are light years ahead of them. It's about you being at your personal best, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's about me being at my personal best. Not comparing myself to the other guy or you comparing yourself to the other guy or girl. It's about knowing that when you get up each and every day and you pay attention, you do something consciously to show the universe that you are grateful and that you are respectful and appreciative that you have a mind, a body, and a spirit. When you do something in each of those different aspects of you, the universe sees you and the universe rewards you. So I'll segue from that right into today's message, because if you are just a smidget bit aware of the social environment, if you are just a smidget bit aware or a smidget bit socially conscious, you see that most people are operating out of hopelessness, despair. Most people are lost. Most people are asleep. Most people are operating from lust and greed and jealousy and hatred or envy. Most people are fake. They're disingenuous. And I'm going to propose to you that most of those people don't really enjoy being that way. But because that's all they see in today's time, these prophesied and very sacred times, they have succumbed to that. So because that's all they see, that's all they're being bombarded with, when every day they get up and move in kindness and compassion and wisdom and courage and faith and love, and all these different things, oftentimes no one is reciprocating that. Oftentimes everybody or most people that they come across are moving in an energy that's diametrically opposed to that. And so most people have succumbed. That merged with the truth that most people miss out on reaching their potential in whatever area it is, or overcoming that struggle in whatever area it is. They miss out on it simply because there is not enough attention being given to the mental, the physical, and the spiritual self. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. It's like driving down the car with three tires in great condition and one tire way low on air, or it's got a lump in it or whatever. You're not going to operate at your premium. And not operating at a premium, again, it doesn't not about being perfect or excellent, but just whatever is your best. When you're not operating at a premium, mentally, physically, and spiritually, then it's easier, or you become more susceptible to being overwhelmed by all of the nonsense that's going on in society. Also, and this is the meat and potatoes of today's message, you miss an opportunity to do what is very needed, what is very essential, and what is lacking in the majority of most of the people that I just listed or described. Those that are disingenuous, that are hateful, that is operating in greed and lust and jealousy and self-pity and hopelessness. What's they're lacking, not what's causing them to be lacking. We talked about all the the sacred and prophesied times, the media, everything that's going on, and they very rarely see anything clean and upright. You get the point that I'm making. That's kind of what's causing it. Plus the fact that people don't know how to merge, balance, and synthesize their mental, physical, and spiritual self. But underneath those two causes is, or let's put it like this: underneath those two symptoms is the causality. And the causality is most of those people, and perhaps you yourself, if you haven't arrived there yet, most people haven't embraced, they haven't processed their own guilt and shame. It's very difficult, dare I say impossible, for anyone to move in true, genuine love, compassion, faith, humbleness, forgiveness, kindness, boldness, courage, wisdom, if they haven't processed their own sense of guilt and shame. And most people don't process that because that's a painful journey. It's easy to sweep it under the rug. It's easy to blame the next guy, blame the symptom, blame the system. But when one don't process their own guilt and shame, then it kind of set themselves up for arrogance, for bitterness, fault finding, and all the other low energy vibrations. Because people are walking around basically wounded, unhealed. And they're unhealed because they have, to a large degree, because they haven't taken that very fundamental step, of processing their own guilt and shame. You see, when one takes the time out to process their own guilt and shame, it's empowering in a way that most people can't imagine. If you haven't gone through that brutal stage and phase of looking yourself in the mirror and processing your own guilt and shame, then you have no idea about how liberating it is on the other side. And let me be clear, everyone, including myself, have something that they feel guilty about, that they feel ashamed of. And I'm using those two words. But this inability to process what's going on internally, it expands far beyond just guilt and shame. There's a sense of inadequacy, a sense of unfulfillment, a sense of, just not being good enough. There's all these things that take place under the umbrella, if you will, of guilt and shame. Sometimes people are lusting. Sometimes people are operating in greed and hatred. And they're unaware of the fact that because they're behaving that way, at the same time, they're adding on to the guilt and shame that they have, because a lot of people don't want to be like that. As I mentioned a moment ago, most people don't want to be like that. It just seems, keyword, we know that things aren't always the way they seem, but it seems like to most people like that's all there is in society. We all have guilt and shame, and we all have encountered to some degree or another a sense of arrogance, a sense of unfulfillment, a sense of loneliness, a sense that, the world or family has betrayed us. A sense of, I'm doing this, but I don't feel good about doing this, but this is what I have to do to get ahead. This is what I have to do to fit in, whatever. This is what I've done. This is what I shouldn't have done. We all have some form of guilt and shame. And when we don't do something every single day to show the universe, regardless of how big or how small it is in terms of what we do, if we don't do something very consciously, not going through the motion, not just reading your Bible or your Quran and sitting it down and say, well, I read a chapter or two today, that's good. I'm talking about in a very conscious way, a heartfelt way. When we don't do something every single day to show the universe, God, that we appreciate a mind, body, and spirit, then that festering of it all, that guilt and that shame and that sense of being inadequate and insufficient and all those things that are, again, kind of fall under the umbrella, if you will, of guilt and shame, those things just continue to grow. It's like sweeping those germs under the rug. That's fine. No one can see it. But then eventually, not only are they able to see it, but they begin to be able to smell it and sense it. So what are you refusing to process when it comes to your guilt and your shame? Again, inadequacy, jealousy, and wrongdoings, whatever. What is it about you that you're refusing to process? When you do something to show the universe, humbly, not braggadociously, just in a genuine way, that you appreciate your mind, your body, and your spirit, you'll realize you being able to acknowledge, which is a brutal step in and of itself, acknowledge that guilt and that shame. You have to acknowledge it, obviously, before you can process it and then heal from it. But when you do something mentally, physically, and spiritually for you, the universe opens up to you and pours more into you. And as a result, you're able to see your own flaws. The good book says, how can I judge you for having a straw in your eyes if I'm walking around with a whole pole in my eye? Blaming the boss, blaming the relationship that didn't work out, blaming the neighbor, blaming the system. Those things may all have some truths to them. They may be totally true. But how you handle it is what's going to make the difference for you and your eternal soul. Even your walk here in life. The moment you start doing that, the moment you become more capable, more empowered by the universe to process that guilt and shame. And I know there's people out there that's walking around that in their minds, in their world, oh, they don't have anything that they feel guilty about. There's nothing that they feel ashamed about. Everything has been, every T has been crossed, every I has been dotted, it's been perfect. There's nothing to feel guilty or ashamed about, and the devil is a lie. We all have something that we're not proud of, that if we could go back, we would redo it. Now, of course, we have the narcissists who think that admitting that they were wrong or having guilt and shame, is a form of weakness. So those group of people that I'll make a separate video about, those people that are committed to darkness, they're never going to admit it. They're weak, they're fragile, and they think that to admit that they were wrong, or if they could do it all over again, they wouldn't do that. They think that's a sign of weakness, when actually it's the greatest sign of strength. It requires an enormous amount of strength to look in the mirror and say, you know what? You're doing that, or I'm doing that, or whoever, and I shouldn't be. I'm doing it to get ahead. I'm doing it to not be targeted myself. I'm doing it to stroke my ego or put on this mask and this facade that I'm all this. And I really don't like that. That takes an enormous amount of strength and character, holy character. We all have mistakes, as I begin to wrap this up, and we all need to face them, guys. We all have things that we're guilty of and things that we're ashamed of. My mom and dad, may peace and blessings be upon them, raised me and my siblings, being raised in the ghetto, and all the things that go along with the ghetto. And when I say ghetto, I mean get-to. One of the things that we were raised, and this, I'm making this point because we all had to learn how to case, we called it joning back in the day, talk about each other, make jokes on each other, as well as fighting and all that kinds of different stuff, everything that goes along with the hood. But the point that I'm making as it relates to today's message, like we all had to joan and case and talk about people and defend ourselves and be prepared for them laughing and talking and spreading rumors or whatever about us. It's just a way of the hood. But one of the things that my mom and dad always taught us was that, you know what? When you're out there casing, they understood where we were, what was required of us in order to make it through and survive that type of environment. And they didn't promote it. I'll give you a video, reference you guys or refer you guys to a video here in a minute. My parents did not promote that. They just understood. You may not promote war in a physical sense, but if you find yourself or you find your loved ones engaged in war in a physical sense, you're going to let them know what they need to do to survive. Make no mistake about it. So they always told us that, listen, when you're out there casing, when you're talking about people, whatever, just keep it real. Just be honest. You don't have to tell lies and spread rumors on people, because the truth about all of us is bad enough. I ain't got to lie about you and say you did this or you did that, or this is how you behave or whatever. I don't have to lie. And you don't have to lie about me, because the truth about me is bad enough. The truth about you is bad enough. The only question is if whether you or I have accepted those things that we're guilty and ashamed of, and then worked by the grace of this thing we call God to heal from it. But we all have things that we feel guilty and ashamed of. You don't have to go around and announce it to the world. It's an internal thing. But if you don't acknowledge it to yourself, if you don't acknowledge it to this thing we call God or the universe, then again, it's sweeping trash under the rug. and one opens themselves up to becoming susceptible to a life full of unfulfillment, a life full of inadequacy. No matter how much money, no matter how much education, how many healthy, so-called healthy relationship, they all come to naught because the internal work hasn't been done. And when you take a mental, physical, and spiritual path to your health and to life and wellness, you'll see how much easier that burden and that task of accepting your shortcomings, the things that you're ashamed of, how easier they become for you to deal with and manage. I got to get out of here, guys. I'm at 26 minutes. But keep that in mind, guys. Here are some services that are designed to help you on your journey. For the mental self, there is philosophical counseling for the older adults. For the younger adults, there's youth and young adult mentoring and counseling. For the spiritual self, there's a whole host of clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices. Go to the email link down in the description box if you'd like to find out some information about those. For the physical self, there is ISSA certified fitness training. Go to the website at mountfitnessmbs.com to get some information about my experience thus far in that area. And if you're interested in any or all of these services, some may be interested in physical fitness training, some may be interested in working on just their spirit, man. They're in great shape, their mental faculties are functioning the way they want, and they just want something when it comes to their spirit, man or woman. But no matter if you're interested in either or all of these compartmentalized services, I'm going to leave an email link down in the description box. And I do look forward to scheduling you for your initial consultation and evaluation. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road when it comes to what this ministry is all about, giving back. I'm going to invite you guys to watch 2 separate videos. One is titled My Testimony and Disclosure. The other is titled My Deliverance. They both say mine, but neither of them is about me. It's about this thing that we call God. It lays out, at least in a general way, how this ministry came to be guided by this thing that we call God or the universe when it comes to putting a premium emphasis on the mental, physical, and spiritual self. It's encouragement for those who are struggling the most. The video titled My Deliverance, very encouraging, very inspiring. Trust me, the story, my story, my past story, that is, it may not be for everybody. I get that. But for those of you who it is for, and you're looking for a word of encouragement, a courtesy reminder that he is not handcuffed to some book that talks about the past. He's still walking, breathing, and performing miracles among us. You're looking at one. Trust me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So that's why I put a premium emphasis on mental, physical, and spiritual health. And that's why I put a premium on the have-nots. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do any and everything that you can do to assist this ministry so that this ministry can assist even more people. And make no mistake about it, you have my solemn vow that all of you guys whose hearts are in the right place, and you're pouring back into this ministry in one or more of the following ways, this ministry is going to continue to do each and everything that the Holy Spirit, God, the universe, empowers me to do. Not for you, but for others. Not just for you, but for others as well. So please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure the bell icon is on for notifications. There's also a Cash App link down in the description box. Show your love financially, guys. Make a monetary donation. Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. Give according to your heart. Give according to your wallet. Give according to his instructions. Leave me a comment. Send me back some love. Thumbs up the video, share the video, investigate, utilize the services, recommend the services to others. In any way that you plant a good seed into this ministry, be living and walking in expectancy for the abundant harvest that the universe has promised you whenever you plant good seed in good ground. That's what I got for you guys. Hey, listen, I'm going to get out of here. To my spiritual family members that are hurting the absolute most, the Bible has prophesied the day and the time when the meek will inherit the earth and when the wealth of the wicked will be transferred over to the righteous. This is that prophesied day and age. This is how we do it. It's our time to rise, and this is how we do it. For my spiritual brothers and sisters that are doing well, if you would, please give back in whatever way that you can, be it to this ministry and or any other outlet where you know the assistance is going to actually reach the people. So I believe that's everything. Go out there, guys, and know that when you do something mentally, physically, and spiritually, that's a key to unlocking your breakthrough. And a part of that breakthrough consists of you facing, accepting, processing, and being healed from the things that you're not proud of. Your guilt and your shame. So work on it. Remember, if you haven't done anything in those areas today just yet, get started now. If you did today, ride that wave until tomorrow. If it's the close of your day, be motivated to do it tomorrow. Get started tomorrow. Don't procrastinate. Get started tonight. Don't procrastinate. Whatever time of day that you're watching this message. If you like some specific details of what you can do based on you, just like my fingerprint, just like your fingerprint, what you need to do is unique to you. Your beliefs, your situations, your past, your present, your hopes for the future, etc., etc. Mine are unique to me, etc., etc. The next guy. So if you like some specific details, reach out to this ministry. This is what I got for you guys. Encouraging you guys to always do something mentally, physically, and spiritually to show thanks and appreciation that you have a mind, body, and spirit. And the universe will take you to levels that you or the next guy can't even imagine. This is what I got for you guys. I love you all. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Yes, I am Brother Minister Mongoose. And yes, I will holla back.